going on, everyone? Hope you guys are well. If you are a contractor or if you're in roofing and you ever tried Angi's, Thumbtack, or any of those lead providers, there are a lot out there, then you probably know that it doesn't really work out very well in terms of volume, lead quality, actually closing jobs, and eventually scaling the company and bringing it to the next level. So if you want to find new ways 2025 to scale your roofing business to the next level, and I'm talking millions of dollars a year, and you just so far couldn't really find like anything that really worked out for you, then this video is for you. I want to walk you through what we personally do, what I personally do with the 20 roofing companies I work with in terms of generating quality appointments consistently without wasting a lot of money. And there are like a lot of things that people just don't talk about, so I kind of like want to reveal those secrets and this stuff in this quick video. So yeah, and at the end of the day, I'm sure a lot of you guys tried Angi's and Thumbtack, and kind of like the common things that I hear are the leads are just obviously not exclusive. So that's like a big point. Like they're getting sent to multiple contractors, meaning that you're competing with other people that maybe even got the leads earlier than you. So at the time when you're calling them, chances are they already talked to three contractors, so it's going to be very, very tough to get in the home and actually sell them eventually. Then the leads are usually pretty low intent. Like a lot of the times they're just kind of like browsing, signing up, looking for more information instead of being like super high intent and saying, okay, I want and need to get my roof done now. Then you also deal a lot with price shoppers. So again, people that are getting like a million quotes from different companies, just kind of like comparing the bids and the quotes to get the cheapest bid. And obviously you don't want to enter that price war because that's just going to leave you with super thin margins, very hard to sell. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are not even in this game. Like you guys probably don't want to like lower your prices because you know your quality. Like you know that you're a solid roofer with using solid material, doing solid work. So why would you pay or get less for the work that you do? Like you want to get paid fairly, and that's like a big problem too. Then you're not building an actual brand. Like even if it works, let's just say you buy leads. For some people it does work out. Like I talked to some people and it kind of works for them. Like they're getting a return on investment, they're closing some jobs, but still, like you're not building an actual brand. Like it's really just kind of like hit or miss. Like you just kind of like buy leads. If you're lucky, you close a couple. If you're not lucky, you don't close people. But you're not really putting your company brand out there and actually building something like you would do with like marketing strategies. And then you don't really, again, have control over who you want, so you can't decide like who you want to target. I know that there are like a couple settings and stuff. Honestly, I'm not like too familiar with the technical side of things, but I'm sure you can't really like control the exact avatar and your ideal customer that you really want. Then yeah, you pay for every lead, even if the lead is shit. And yeah, last but not least, again, like it's just not scalable. It's too inconsistent, basically hit or miss. It's kind of like gamble. Like you just buy a bunch of leads, and if you're lucky, you close a couple. So doesn't really work out if you want to build like a $1 million business and really get consistency in your business. And that's really what we're like trying to achieve. So what you actually need is consistent quality appointments. So no like chasing leads, calling leads 20 times, competing with other people through price. Like we really want consistent quality appointments. Then we want quality homeowners that want to work with your company, not just comparing bids. So we want to push out your brand. We want people to reach out to you because they want to work with you and your company because they saw your work, they saw your reviews, and they think you're a good fit and you're a quality company. So basically like referrals. Like obviously you can print referrals, like that's happening through word of mouth, and if you do good work, you probably already get a good amount of business from that, but it's just not consistent. So if we can find a way to do something similar at a consistent and scalable way, then that's essentially the perfect thing. Like that's what we want, like people that want to work with you. Then yeah, leads that are obviously 100% exclusive. Again, we want to be scalable, so you're able to actually make millions because it's not capped. Like it's not capped as of like how much money you put in, how many leads you want to get. Like as long as the ROI is there, the return on investment, you can essentially scale this thing up. And then again, it builds your brand and positions you as the trusted authority in your market over time, which kind of like has a snowball effect after time, because again, people kind of like see your content, and we're going to talk about like how to actually do this and the action steps in a second, but people are going to see your brand and your content over and over and over again until it gets ingrained in their mind that you are and your company is the trusted authority in their local market. So you actually start building a community, leveraging social media and other platforms to really build a community and get even organic business from it, and also obviously referrals later down the line by just kind of like building the brand. So this is what I mean by snowball effect. It's not all about like the front end marketing, like, okay, I buy this many leads and I get this many sales. It's also about the back end, like delivering good work, getting referrals, building your brand. So that's what we actually want to do. And the outcome, obviously, at the end of the day, you're looking for is, how I like to call it, is like a machine where, you put $1 in and you get $4 or $5 out. So you can really do this consistently and as many times as you want. Obviously, like at a certain scale, the problems may be somewhere else. Like the problems may be, okay, now I want to put more money into this machine, but I can't because I don't have the sales reps. So then you need to hire more sales reps, which is the second point I got right here. But at the end of the day, it's like you got consistent appointments instead of wasting time chasing leads. You can now actually focus on, growing the company instead of just going out and about, calling leads, chasing leads. You're not relying on word of mouth or door knocking, which are usually just super tough and inconsistent ways of getting business. I mean, word of mouth is obviously great if you do great work, and it's always going to be there. It's a super important factor, probably more important than any kind of marketing out there. But if you don't have a solid base and a solid, consistent customer base coming in of new leads, new appointments, new opportunities, your word of mouth is also not going to grow. Like it's gonna be there, and it may give you a good amount of business, but it's not going to scale your company long term. And then becoming the go-to brand in your area. So again, like I just talked about, like just building the brand, and then we want to obviously also increase the business value. Like if you got a roofing company that has the brand, that has all the profiles, everything set up, and essentially has this kind of machine where you put $1 in and get this many dollars out, then the company value is going to increase drastically. So if like one day, maybe in a couple of years, you want to actually sell your company, then building that authority and that brand and building the company as a whole, like, and getting the authority and trust in your local market is going to be essential. So this is the outcome that we're looking for. How do we do that? I got a couple action steps right here. So essentially stage 1 is really just preparing. I'm just going to talk about the strategy in a second here, but you really want to have a good foundation, because if you want to build a brand, if you want to build trust and authority, then you got to be on multiple platforms, and you got to look legit. Like the company has to be legit. So you want to have a Facebook profile, ideally, for the strategy that we're driving, which has a couple followers, like a couple hundred ideally, a couple posts on there just to kind of like see, okay, maybe some before and afters, just for people to see, okay, this is legit, they do good work. Maybe post some reviews, some video content if you have some. Obviously put all your data in there. Same thing with the Google My Business profile. So you want to have a Google My Business profile so people can search you up on Google and find you immediately with all your reviews on there. So what I usually do with my clients is I help them set all this stuff up, meaning that we do like a Google My Business profile. We run a Google review campaign, meaning that we contact just your past customer base and just ask for reviews. This way you can get, like, even if it's just 30, 40, 5-star reviews that you can get, that makes a lot, and also boosts like SEO and stuff like that, meaning you get more people reaching out organically. But the main thing about this is really that when people look up your company name, you got a solid profile with posts on there, you got a solid Google My Business page with reviews on there, and then obviously a solid website too. Like you want to have like a good website that looks clean with a lot of information just about your company, reviews and all that kind of stuff. And that's really like the setup that you need. Like that's the most important stuff. Obviously, you can also get on Yelp and on a lot of other platforms. This is not an SEO video. I personally don't do SEO really, but those are really just like the fundamentals that you need, so when people look you up, that you just look legit and you can actually start building the brand. Now, step 2 is we want to create some content, and I showed some of those videos like in other videos, and I'm obviously not going to be able to give you my best performing video ads that I have, but I can definitely give you some examples so you can get an idea of how this looks like. And there are really 3 types. So the first type would be like a voiceover, and I'm going to go into actual detail in a second here how to create those ads pretty easily, actually within essentially minutes. So if we just kind of like look at this first one, it's a voiceover ad. So you really don't need any material. You don't need any like high editing skills, or I mean, you should have a base of editing skills. And if you're a contractor, chances are you probably don't want to do those videos yourself. So I'd recommend just get somebody that can do those. It's not super hard. And then, yeah, let me just show this to you.
Looking for a roofer right here in Oakland County you can actually trust? Build.
Now, immediately within the first seconds, it's like 2 factors. So first of all, we're calling out the local area, because once again, like, we want to build trust and authority in the local area. So calling that out in the first couple of seconds is key. Like, it's a very good thing to do. Then we said looking for a roofer that you can actually trust, and the keyword is trust. Like, and even if we look at like the whole video, it's going to be very much quality focused. Like, it's not, okay, get a $3,000 discount or get this much off or whatever it is. We really want to focus on the qualities of the company and on like a trust and quality factor. So if I just play the rest real quick.
Co is the #1 local roofing company, rated 5 stars by your neighbors. From roof repairs to full exterior makeovers, we do it all right away and on budget. Free inspections, fast service.
So you get the idea. It's not super like pricing focused like a lot of the ads that you see with like that are just kind of like image ads, pricing focused. We want to focus on quality. Then the second thing would essentially be an ad that you record yourself, depending on the quality of camera equipment you got and stuff. Like, some of you guys may have that, some of you may not, but honestly, like, it doesn't really matter. Like this one right here, it's kind of like a podcast style ad that this company recorded themselves. So you can look into that real quick.
It's almost like luxury roofing. Like,
yes.
I've been in real estate.
So you get the idea. Once again, it's kind of like the keyword and the, I would say, hook in this video is the keyword luxury roofing, which not a lot of people hear because roofing is not really considered a luxury service, but it actually can be. Like, again, if you want to go after the higher end homeowners that have like multi-million-dollar homes looking for like a good roofing company, they may be triggered by like luxury roofing. Sounds interesting. And again, it's a pretty high quality podcast style ad. But even if you just have like your iPhone and you're like on a job, doing a roof, and you just pull out your iPhone and just selfie style record a video, that's like a lot of authenticity, like just the owner or anyone on the team like standing in front of the camera. So I would say that's always a great way to go about it. And obviously you got to be creative. Like you can't just do one thing. Like you need to do different things and just be creative and test. I'm going to show you in a second how to make that process a bit easier. And then the third thing would really be to hire an actor. So I can just give you like a very quick example.
Do you have a roof leak? Do you need to get a new roof but you just can't afford it right now? I called Invista Home. They're so amazing to work with that they got us a brand new roof with no money down.
So as you can see, that's kind of like more of a, again, pretty catchy ad. I think they hired like an actor. It's not one of my ads, but I think they hired like an actor because chances are, like, I mean, if you can get a customer that would record something like this, it would be very great. But most of the time you would just want to like look for a solid actor that kind of like meets your demographic. And for example, we got like a couple actors in my company essentially that can record those kinds of ads. So those are really the three ways. Like either get in front of the camera yourself, or if you don't want to do that, do the voiceovers, do the actors, and now you have some great content. But actually how you want to do this is first of all, you want to write the script, right? So you can write the script, and when you have the script, you can either record it yourself, you can give it to an actor, you can do a voiceover. So essentially what we don't want to do is I build out like a ChatGPT. So this is the ChatGPT that I kind of like built, and I fed it with like a lot of good converting video scripts and kind of like told them what to do. I still need to build it out a bit more, but it's already great. So if you go in here, and I'm going to try to link it in the description, or if I forget, just let me know in the comments, and then I can kind of like send it to you, or yeah, just DM me, whatever. But essentially it can write scripts for you. So if we just say, okay, write me a high converting video ad script I can use for voiceovers or actors. And this is, by the way, like very specific for contractors and roofers. So if you're in another industry, you might want to like build your own bot or whatever. But if you're a contractor, then you can try to use this, and it's going to ask you a couple of questions. So like, what's your main offer? What location and areas do you serve? What angles or pain points do you want to focus on? And then it gives you a couple examples like storm damage, leaks, high cost, mold, wood rot. And you kind of like just answer every single one of those questions. So you go like, one, okay, what's your main offer? Let's just say $0 down financing if you want to run an offer. You don't have to put one in, but let's just go with that. And then what location or areas do you serve? Let's just go with Houston as an example. Then angle or pain point, let's just say storm damage. Fourth point, what makes your company stand out? Yeah, we can just, for now, you can obviously get more creative, but let me just copy this stuff right here so we have it in here. And then fifth point, is this a first person testimonial script? So this is only if you want to like have a script where you give it to an actor and he records like a testimonial kind of like script sharing his experience. So we just say no. And now we would click enter. And obviously, like if you have certain ideas and things you want to add, you can still like tell ChatGPT to implement those things if you don't like the script for whatever reason, but it still will be able to kind of like use the scripts that are proven that I use to kind of like have the right structure. So at the end you have like a hook, a body, and a call to action. In the hook, as you can see, it's calling out Houston homeowners, and yeah, you can kind of like just read through this. It gives you a couple different scripts. So like script 1, then we have script 2, and then you can even, like, if you want more scripts, just tell them you want more. If you want something changed, just tell them that. But usually they're like very short and sweet. You can even make them a bit longer, but once you got that, you can kind of like just copy and paste it and again send it to an actor, record it yourself, or do the voiceover. And by the way, if you want to go the voiceover route, the tool I recommend is 11 Labs. It's like $5 a month. So 11 Labs is pretty simple. It's like a text-to-speech AI tool where you just put the script in, and it will give you like a pretty realistic sounding voiceover through AI, which you can then use and put like some background footage, like drone footage, roof footage in the background, and then do some nice editing to it, like just the one that I pretty much just showed you. So action steps, stage 4 would be the landing page. So before you can obviously launch those ads, you need to find a way to capture those leads. And you want to capture them in a good way to avoid having like a lot of low quality leads that you don't really want. So I essentially have an example of like a website that we would run, which is like a landing page. And on here, we want to have a couple of different things. So this is optional. Like you can have a call button on here that's clickable if people want to call you directly. I would only recommend this if you have like a call center. For example, we have like a call center that handles all the inbound calls and leads, kind of like books them in on the spot. If you don't have that, you can lose out on a bit of business. So in that case, I wouldn't do this. But the main thing is really going to be, first of all, the website. So short and sweet one pager. Don't put your website as the landing page, because your website has a lot of unnecessary information that just overwhelms people. So we want to make this page very specific to the ad that they saw. So depending on what you say in the ad, you want the headline to match, you want the points to match, and then you just want it to be like super straightforward and easy to consume, meaning you just have like a bit of credibility, some guarantees or some benefits of your company. As you can see, only like 3 points, and then we want to have some reviews on here, so it's only like 3 pics with 3 reviews. call to actions throughout the page. And then when we scroll down, we have like step 1, step 2, step 3. So kind of like telling them what's going to happen after they sign up in a simplified way. Again, really just to optimize conversion rates and get a good cost per lead, but still giving them like enough information up front to where they actually like it leaves an impression on them and they remember like, okay, this is our company and this is what we do. Then we have the survey where we kind of like want to pre-qualify people. So if they rent, we disqualify them. And then from there, we can pretty much customize this depending on what leads you want or don't want. You can disqualify people. So I would recommend, again, just kind of like come up, okay, like what are no-goes for you? Like if a lead doesn't meet this requirement, we don't want them as a lead, put it in here. It's not necessarily going to increase your cost per lead if you disqualify some people, because if you run those on like Facebook and Instagram, Facebook is just going to find you the people that you want. So if you tell them, okay, we don't want those people, then it's not necessarily going to increase your cost per lead. It's rather going to make Facebook find the people that you actually want. So I would recommend that. So from here, we kind of like ask what service they're looking for, how soon, like when they would like to get their project done. And then we ask for stuff like, the address, the contact details, everything you need. So pretty simple. This is how we essentially capture the lead. And then from there, if we look at the stage 5, it would really just be to kind of like launch the ads. So before I kind of walk you through the numbers and how that would work out, like if you want to launch the ads, obviously you need to do that on like Facebook. I recommend running them on both Facebook and Instagram, which is both on the same platform. So actually do an Instagram profile for your company as well. That would really benefit you a lot probably. So on Facebook, for the people that don't know it, like there are really like a couple of things that you can use for targeting. First of all, it's the location. So I recommend, like I mentioned in the last video too, you really want to get specific with the location instead of running like your whole service area, which used to be a pretty good way because it's a big audience size and it might make sense on a fresh account. But honestly, like if you later on want to dial in the strategy, I recommend picking like counties, cities, and just like smaller locations that you target, because in that case, you can kind of like call out those areas and actually hit them with the ads regularly and build the trust and the authority in that specific area, which just works a lot better than just going too broad. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to achieve. And then we can still do multiple. Like I would just recommend splitting it up. So in this case, we have like one ad set for each county or city. So we have one for Brazoria County, one for Matagorda County, one for Galveston County, and so on. And then you can have like, even if it's like ends up being like 10 or 20, it doesn't matter, just split it up. And then in terms of the targeting, essentially we want to put a couple basic things in here. Honestly, you don't need to go too crazy, because if your ads, like the video ads, are good, they do most of the targeting because they will attract the people that you want, and Facebook's going to know where to show those ads. But just the basic stuff, we want to go after homeowners. So I usually put in like at least 27 to 65 plus in terms of age, if not 30 at a minimum. And then under detail targeting, you don't need to go too crazy, honestly. Couple things you can do is you can just put like general stuff like home improvement in here to target like homeowners specifically, because unfortunately there's no way to just put homeowners in there like on Google. But yeah, just demographics and interests that fit the demographic you want to target. You can even put like household income brackets in there if you really want to go after the very wealthy people. But again, your ads will really do most of the work when it comes to the targeting. So from here, I really just want to show you, to close the video off, like some average numbers so you can get an idea like how the system would work, because obviously like you see all this stuff and how it works, and at the end of the day, what matters are the numbers. Like what are you going to put into this? What are you getting out eventually? How does this work out? Now, I just listed like some general KPIs and metrics that we go after. Like with the roofing companies I work with, this is on average what we see across everyone. And quick disclaimer, that can vary, like depending on how competitive your location is and a lot of other factors. It can vary, so it can be lower than that, it can be higher than that, but that's the average. Like that's what you should probably strive after. That's realistic. So the cost per lead that we're usually striving for, so CPL stands for cost per lead, is $50, meaning we want to put $50 in to the advertising to get one lead back. Not every single lead will be perfect, obviously, then we would all be millionaires, but the contact rate should be at least 80%, meaning 80% of the people or the leads that you get, you should be able to reach and get a hold of at least 80% with the strategy that I just showed you, like the video ads, the landing page, the pre-qualifying. Obviously, those metrics can be way different. Like if you just use like a quick instant form, just funneling people through with an image ad, then you could probably get a lower cost per lead, but your lead quality would also be worse. So with this strategy, which works pretty well, you would probably be able out of 10 people to get a hold of about 8. Now, the contact to appointment rate really depends on your skills. Like if you have great setters, like for example, we have call center agents that call the leads within 30 seconds, qualify them, and book them in. If you don't have that, it's probably going to be like around 50%. That's still realistic. Like if you still call them on time, out of the 8 people that you reach, so out of the 80% you reach, you should be able to book 50% at least, and if not more, maybe even 60, 70%. That really depends. And then the appointment to show rate should be about 80%. Again, not every single lead that you book in will actually show up when you knock at their door, or maybe they will cancel. Might actually even be like more like 70%, but again, really varies depending on what you do in the back end in terms of like also reminding them and stuff. And then the show to close rate, like industry average, honestly, like you probably know your own close rate better than me, but usually from what I see, it's like around 30%. Now, I know a couple of you people say like, okay, I'm closing at 80-90%. If I get in the home, it's basically a deal done. But that's really most of the time with referrals. Like, we're still talking about cold leads, and just to set the expectations right, those leads are not the same as referrals. Like, we're trying to get as close as possible, but usually like a good realistic close rate to strive for is 30%. If you got fucking killer sales reps, then you might be able to get that number higher. But even with those numbers, just to give you like a more vivid example, if we invest $1,500 into ads, so let's just say we run ads for 1 month, 30 days, we invest $50 a day, so like a lower end budget, then we would get 30 leads, considering those numbers. We would get 24 contacts, meaning out of those 30 leads, we can reach 24 people. Out of those 24 people we reach, we should be able to book around 12 appointments. Maybe 10 of them show, and with 30% close rate, that would be around, maybe some are like also not qualified for whatever reason. So out of those shows, we should get around 3 closes. Now, 3 closes doesn't seem like a lot, especially if you have very high ambitions and if you want to build a multi-million-dollar company. But this is really just an example on a lower scale, just to show you like how this works. And at the end of the day, an average roof replacement is like 4 to 5K profit. So if we just go with like the average margins, depending on like obviously other factors, like are you subcontracting, are you doing the work yourself? But let's just say an average roof replacement as a contractor, you should get like 4 to 5K profit, if not more if you get bigger projects. So if we consider that, that would be like around 15 grand in profit that we get from the 3 replacements that we closed. And even if it's less than that, like if it's 15K, then we invested $1,500 into the advertising and got 15K out in profit. So that's an 10x return on investment. And even if for whatever reason we get some small projects and whatever, and it ends up being lower, then you still have, I don't know, let's just say even if it's a $5 return on investment, the point is that we have a return on investment and that the system is working. And this ties back like to the visual that I had earlier with the machine, where you put $1 in and get $4 or $5 out, because you can at this point really do this as many times as you want. Obviously, like at a certain rate, like there will be challenges, like you got to hire more sales reps, you got to have a call center if the lead volume gets super high to maintain the numbers. So it's not that simple, but bottom line, like if you have the right infrastructure and work with a good company, for example, or just do it all in-house, you have this machine and you can essentially build everything around it. But the point is, like, as soon as you want to get appointments, as soon as you want to make more money, you just put more money in. And that happens as long as the ROI is there. Obviously, if the ROI is 2x, it's going to be a lot more tough. Like, you're going to spend probably a lot of time kind of like calling leads, and okay, you get a return, but it's going to be hard to scale. So the higher the ROI is, like, for example, if it's 10x, it's going to be very easy for you to just put more in, get more out, and scale the company. So there are nuances to it, but you get the idea how this works. And this pretty much sums up the video. Like, I hope this really made sense. I really just want to try to show you like how this kind of like stuff works when it comes to like social media, online marketing. Obviously, I know it can be overwhelming. There's a lot to it. So if you want to just have like a no obligation free strategy call, you can book down below with the first link in the description. With me personally, like if you're a roofing contractor, I'm happy to talk to you. Obviously, I do work with roofers and I have something to sell and offer, but you don't have to buy. Like, even if I'm always happy to help out, even if you just want like a free strategy call, just kind of like getting some insight into like what you could be doing for your business. You can feel free to do that. And if not, you can also just keep consuming my free content. So I'm uploading right now like at least 1 time a week, just so you can kind of like stay up to date on what's going on right now in the marketing world, how you can kind of like get more jobs and sales in your roofing business. So I hope that all makes sense, and you guys have a great day.